You start with the IRA definition. It looks harmless to someone who's never had to navigate the internal politics of a public institution because it's framed as a tool against racism, and nobody in the NHS is going to stand up and argue in favour of racism, are they? But the definition is written in such a way that its examples swallow its meaning. It doesn't define anti-Semitism, it defines disloyalty to Israel. And the High Court has already said as much by refusing to interpret its examples as presumptively anti-Semitic. So when the government insists this definition must now be inserted into every staff handbook, every HR policy, every disciplinary rubric, they're not fighting anti-Semitism. They're installing a political doctrine that ties your professionalism to your willingness to accept the ideology of a foreign state. Who's really running this country? And the reason this matters inside the NHS is because of how employment law works. It's one thing to say someone has breached a policy. It's another to embed that policy inside mandatory competencies. That's the master stroke here, if you want to call it that. Because once the DHSC says the new anti-Semitism training is aligned to statutory and mandatory competencies, the stakes change entirely. You're not just disagreeing with a policy, you're failing a required element of your job. Failing mandatory training has real consequences. Blocked pay progression, disciplinary action, dismissal, even deregistration. They're turning a political viewpoint into a professional obligation and calling it anti-racism. And you can see the contempt built into it as well, because they know exactly what they're doing. They know that the BMA voted overwhelmingly that criticism of Israel is not inherently anti-Semitic. They know the High Court has said political criticism of Israel is protected speech. They know Palestinian, Muslim and Arab workers are facing unprecedented levels of racism, including at work. They know none of this policy addresses any of that, and they know they haven't followed the legally required consultation procedures. They're not trying to fix racism in the NHS. They're trying to create a bureaucracy that punishes dissent.